there was no doubt it was the biggest upset in the 2 years of the ANZ Championship. An historic first and only win for the Central Pulse, humiliating the 2008 champions in round 13 last year. Today, well, what a way to kickstart rivalry round. The opportunity for the Swifts to restore their reputation and exact revenge against the bottom of the table Pulse. Good afternoon to Saturday afternoon netball right across Australia on One. Kelly Underwood joining me in the commentary position this afternoon. Former Swifts player Ali Broadbent, and Ali, round 4 and the first home game for the Swifts.
Yeah, I think the players and the crowd are looking forward to the first home game and they can't wait to get out on court.
And what a blistering start it has been for the New South Wales Swifts side. They had a horror year last year, but if we have a look at the ladder, they are sitting in second position after 3 rounds, of course. The Vixens, last year's champions, right on top.
Yeah, look, some may be surprised. I'm not surprised that the Swifts are up there. They've got a fine team this year. They've been working really hard. And, you know, they're just deserving of that at the moment.
Well, let's have a look at the starting 7 for the New South Wales Swifts, and we'll see whether their coach, Julie Fitzgerald, has sprung any surprises. Ali, has she?
Yeah, no surprises here. It's the lineup that she's gone with each and every week so far this season. Kim Green at wing attack with Courtney Towry at the mid-court. I expect Vanessa Ware to make an impact in this game somewhere along the line.
Well, no surprises with her starting 7, but she's surprised us pre-match because you've been good enough to join us, Julie. And I wanted to start by asking you, of course, it was the horror loss that you had last year to this side. How much has that, I guess, been mentioned during the week in the lead-up?
To be honest, we haven't mentioned it a lot. I think it's really important that you remember that a third of this team is new, so they don't have to carry the baggage of last year, and they've brought a new enthusiasm to us, and we really haven't talked about that a lot. We're very concentrating on our own game and hopefully keeping improving as we go along.
The big talking point, Julie, is the fact that Catherine Cox took herself off the bench, off the court last week. What's your thoughts on that?
Look, Kath wasn't playing well at all, and it was a really hard call to make, but I think it was the right call, and it was great to see Amy come on and do so well.
Rebecca Bully, she's in some fine form first half of the season.
She is. I'm really thrilled for Beck. I think she's been one of our most consistent performers. Every time she's stepped foot on the court, she's been up for the game, and I'm really happy with how she's going.
And obviously she's playing with a new import, Sonia McCloma. How is Sonia fitting into the lineup?
Really well. I'm wrapped with how quickly she's fitted into the team. As you know, she only just got here just before Sofa Cup, so they've had very little time together, but they've gelled very well together. And on and off the court, Sonia seems to be enjoying it, and we're loving having her.
Excellent. And one last one. Susan Prattley's playing her 100th game today. You must be proud of that.
I am really proud of her, and I think it's a really good story. She's a country kid from Bega who's shown that even country kids who live in regional areas can come through and play for Australia.
Julie, you've surprised the netball world with the way you've started in 2010. Has the team surprised you?
Oh, not really. Like we're always planning to win and training to win, and I'm very grateful to have had 3 wins on the road. When we first saw the draw and realised that we had those tough games away from home to start with, we were a little bit apprehensive. So it's great to come here tonight and play in front of a home crowd and have those wins behind us.
How much does it help the squad when you do play in front of really a parochial home crowd like here today?
It's awesome. We absolutely love playing in Sydney and on this court. It's great.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. All the best this afternoon, and of course we can't wait to see you kickstart round 4 and whether the Swifts can continue their unbeaten run in the 2010 season. They're taking on the Central Pulse right after this. The opening centre pass not too far away. It's the ANZ Championship on One. Hosting the Central Pulse, Ali Broadbent joining us this afternoon in commentary, and gee, fair to say a tough couple of years for the Central Pulse, just 1 win from 2 years. They've been doing it tough.
They have been doing extremely tough, and it's fair to say that the girls, their morale would be quite low at the moment.
And of course they've had the 3 games already this year, winless from that. 5 changes over summer, and the one big one was the new captain, an Aussie, Jane Olschweiger, and she's going to start for them this afternoon in the goal shooting position. How do you see that?
Yeah, look, she's going to start at goal shooting. She's still to find some form form. I haven't seen her consistently play a good game for all 4 quarters at the moment. Camilla Lee's at wing attack. They expect big things for her. She's a silver fern and very young. Katrina Grant and Abizi up the back end are finding some nice rhythm together, getting some balls, but it's just not being finished off.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Olschweiger. You know her quite well, obviously played with her in the Swifts going back a few years ago. We won't mention how many years ago, Ali, but obviously hails from Adelaide, 7 tests for Australia, took a couple of years out, retired and came back last year for the Thunderbirds, barely got any time, and now we see her as the captain for a Kiwi team. That's unheard of.
It is unheard of, but there is another Australian captain over there as well. But yeah, Jane, she's had an indifferent start to the season, but I kind of expect that. It's a big step up to Trans-Tasman. She's had a couple of years out. She didn't get much court time last year with the Thunderbirds, so you'd expect her to find her like a little bit of time to get her rhythm in this game.
Under the pump heading into this game, no doubt about that. The captain, 3 Silver Fern squad members in this team, and one of them is Camilla Lees, and gee, big raps on her.
Yeah, there is big raps on her. She's only just turned 21 and is in the Silver Fern squad, obviously, and is playing quite nice netball, but still, you know, she is young. But then you can only say they're only young and inexperienced for so long.
And as I mentioned, 5 new squad members over summer. One of the big signings was Katrina Grant. Played in her hometown last week. Actually described the loss last week as disgusting. So you would think that she'd be out for a big afternoon and to make amends.
I think so, and she is a very nice player, and I think her and Abizi at the back end are doing some really nice things. They're picking up some nice balls. I truly believe that the transition they're going from defence into attack is lacking. They need to really work on that, and obviously I'm sure that's what they've been doing at training this week.
As we see Emma Abwazi on camera, of course, part of the winning Vixen side, the squad last year that won the premiership. Didn't see much court time, but she's starting this afternoon and she's in for a good afternoon. They've made the long haul from Wellington. They'll be looking at least to put up a challenge against the New South Wales Swifts. Right after this, it is the opening centre pass from Sydney, the ANZ Championship. The New South Wales Swifts hosting the Central Pulse. Good crowd in Saturday afternoon. Netball from Sydney Olympic Park, the ANZ Championship in Sydney for the first time this year. And there's Swifts captain Kath Cox looking for a big game this afternoon. And the fans flocking back to the game because their side is back in town. Just 2 wins last year. They have started 2010, 3 from 3. Ali Broadbent, if we have a look at their head-to-head record, we see they played in round 13 last year, and of course we've already spoken about that, the Swifts losing that heartbreakingly by 1 goal. But round 4 2008, it was the Swifts by 29 goals. So what can we read into that?
Yeah, look, I think the Swifts of 2008 actually were a better side. Last year, that was round 13, so we're talking the end of the season after a very disappointing season for the Swifts. And while the Poles played quite well at home, I expect the Swifts to get up today.
Covering all the action courtside for us this afternoon. In the thick of it is Victoria Murphy. And Toria, a good build-up in Sydney this week and a pretty good atmosphere in here this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Very excited to be here for the Swifts' first home game of the season. And as you said, a healthy crowd out here today too. Almost capacity, around 2,500 fans have turned out to see the Swifts. As for the side, I managed to have a chat with some of the players earlier today. They're all very relaxed and very confident, and so they should be. They're 3 from 3 so far this season, as you said. You'd imagine they'll make it 4 in a row today against the bottom of the table Poles. Coach Julie Fitzgerald very happy with her lineup. She's gone for the same starting 7 as she's done all year. As for the Poles, a massive ask for them today. They haven't won a game this year. They've struggled all over the court, especially in attack. One good sign for them, shooter Jane Olschweiger is coming to some form, but it will take a lot to get them across the line, as reflected in the sportsbet.com.au figures. You can see coming up there now, the Pulse loan out to $15. The Swifts, raging favourites, $1.01.
Thanks for that, Tori. We'll cross to you throughout the course of this game. $15. You'd be a brave betting personality.
You would be.
Let's have a look at some of the key matchups heading into the start of this game. And as we look at the Swifts and the Pulse, and McCloma, she's the first international recruit for the Swifts, and she's got the task against their Aussie captain.
Yeah, she has, and obviously I actually expect this to be quite a tussle because of the size of. They're both quite tall, both lanky, and I expect them to be quite hardly fought there.
And Bully and Griffin on the next line. Griffin, a really up-and-coming good player in the Silver Ferns squad.
Yeah, she's in Silver Ferns squad, and Rebecca Bully is finding some form. So again, you know, these combination, I expect Bully to take that one out.
What about the mid-court? We've already spoken about Camilla Lees, but Kim Smith?
Yeah, Kim Smith is finding some form as well. I expect her to dominate in this section.
As we continue through the mid-court, gee, she's been a story. Courtney Tyree for the Swifts got a start in round one and has really taken it and really run with it. And Kim Green, of course, one of the veterans in this team and Aussie representative.
Yeah, she is.
And Pratley and Grant to go head-to-head. We'd already spoken pre-match a little bit about Grant. The final matchup, Kath Cox, well, controversial last week. In extra time against the Tactics, she brought herself off because she was really disappointed with her shooting percentage, and it was a brave move by the skipper, and it paid off because they did get the win. And what would be her thoughts, I guess, spending the week? She's had the week to go over what happened and the fact that she probably wasn't playing as well as she would have liked. Got plenty of the ball, but just couldn't make the most of her opportunities. And as I mentioned, really courageous move, taking herself off. It paid off, and she's had a week to think about it.
She has, and she's a very calm, collected customer, and she leads by example. She's a captain, very good captain, and I think the team and the players will get a lot from that.
So just awaiting the players to be introduced on centre court here, and start with Olschwager, and then Griffin will combine under the post this afternoon. This is their first trip to Australia in 2010. It's a long trip. Of course, they're based in Wellington, and they've lost their first three to the Tactics, the Mystics and the Steels. So come up against all New Zealand sides so far. It's not going to get any easier.
No, it's not going to get any easier, and I think today they're especially going to have a tough ask to take out the Swifts.
And get ready for the cheer, because it's just about one of the loudest stadiums in Australia to watch a netball game here at Sydney Olympic Park. Four players in the Australian squad in this New South Wales Swifts team, and there's two of them, Cox and Pratley and Kim Green and Rebecca Bully as well. It's quite a formidable lineup, and really hard to believe when you look back over last year that they only had 2 wins for the entire season, of course, having taken out the championship in the inaugural year in 2008.
Yeah, it was, and it certainly was a surprise, but I think their headspace, obviously, they didn't lose too many games by many goals. Like, I think there's probably, you count on one hand, five games that they lost by 2 or 1 point. So, you know, they were always in those games, but they didn't finish them off quite well.
And I guess the question for the Swifts heading in was, could one player turn it all around for them? They recruited Sonia McCloma, and so far so good.
I think so far so good, but I actually think it's a good move by Julie Fitzgerald and the team, because she adds some balance. Rebecca Bully and Kim Smith did a lot of running around last year and didn't seem quite balanced. They were fiddling around with the defence line. I think Sonia's come in, settled everything down. They've got their positions, and while there's people that they can change it around a little bit, I think it seems quite settled and controlled.
Saturday afternoon netball is go from Sydney, and it's Pritchard for the Pulse who kicks things off, and straight away, wow, Green can't believe it. She thought she might have forced the intercept there. Crucial for the Pulse to get early goals on the board, just for their confidence. Speaking of confidence, Olschwager needs it. Opts to give it off to Griffin. And they're on the board first, the Pulse. Just the start that they need. Green opts to go back, and now Tyree. Smith. Pratley could go long, does go long, into Cox. Just patient on the build-up, and then it was a Boise that got a hand in there. But the call goes against her. Kath Cox. Shooting at 68% so far this year, so she'll certainly be looking to improve that. The shooters aim for about 80%.
Yeah, anything over 80 is a good sign. But it's funny, a lot of people haven't spoken about, but Coxie has actually had an injury in the off-season, so she hasn't had much court time. And I think that as the season builds and the team improves each week, I think that her shooting percentage will come up as well.
Kath Cox had had the ankle surgery. First game back was round 1. Good steal by the Swift. It'll come back though. This is Sonia McClymer, the English international.
You can actually see the Poles putting on a press in the mid-court. They're actually backing in the defence, and it's, you know, making it a little bit tough for the Swifts to come through the mid-court.
Tyree with the 1-2 to Pratley. Ursula Lichwak playing wing defence for the Pulse this afternoon. Their captain last year and overlooked. It was a player vote. She was overlooked and struggled to get any court time so far in the first 3 rounds. So interesting to see that the coaching staff have given Lichwak a start. And, gee, she's going to come out a player possessed because she's really got a point to prove, hasn't she, this afternoon?
She has got a point to prove. And I think, yeah, I might find that she's a little bit more relaxed this year and doesn't have the pressure of being captain in a losing side.
Dream start for the visitors. The Pulse 2, Swifts yet to score. A little ambitious on that long ball in.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's been happening to the Pulse. I think they try to rush through things and it's actually not working out for them because if they're not really settled and controlled in their attack.
Pratley, Green was just moving forward. Did really well to maintain control and Cox misses the shot. So great opportunity. It is early days, but gee, if they can go get the first 3 on the board, this would be just the perfect start. Griffin a little rushed with the shot then.
Yeah, very rushed, and I think that's where we'll find a lot of the tussle will be in both the goal circles for both sides. It'll be quite exciting.
Green and Tyree combining really well. Quick hands, then in and under. Pratley nails her first shot for the afternoon. Green goes to Pratley again. The call goes against Cox and it was for leaning in.
Yeah, look, it was for leaning in. I think that's a bit ambitious, but, you know, the umpires see what they see, so obviously she might need to come off the body a little bit.
Kim Green getting physical in the mid-court. No surprises there. Griffin. Altschwager. And not a bad start for the skipper. 2 from 4. She had a shocker at the start of last week. Just 1 shot in the first quarter and a finish with 21 from 26. So
the second half last week from the Pulses game was actually the most promising we've seen from them so far this season. And, you know, they're going to take a lot of confidence from that. And, you know, they've got nothing to lose. Everyone expects them to lose today. But, you know, you never know. That sort of, there's no pressure and, you know, they'll just take everything from that.
Chance for a 3-goal lead. And they've got it. So crowd a little stunned early on.
They seem a little stunned, a little quiet, but the Swifts are just finding their feet. And it's funny enough, they haven't had any court time on this court this season so far. So the Swifts are they're finding their spaces at the moment. And Susan Pratley's doing a really good job of splitting the circle. And Captain's missed her first 2, so she'll want to step back a little bit and let Prats take the running for a little while.
Pritchard. Held ball. So good
Great
defensive
defence.
pressure.
Yeah, great defence from both Bully and McClymer. And that's, I think, the thing that from last year that Rebecca Bully and Kim Smith, they struggled. They didn't have the balance and someone at the back line. So when they've got someone like Sonia at the back, it actually settles them and makes them more controlled and they can play their own game. And I think that's what we're seeing, especially from Rebecca Bully this season so far.
Just coughed that one up. Altschwager went down just under the post, a little slow to get to her feet, and perhaps a little proppy, might have been an ankle, but we'll keep an eye on that. Seems to be okay. Can't afford to lose her.
Held ball.
Well done by McClymer.
Yeah, she's got a great lane and can be very intimidating for a lot of shooters.
Oh, and eyes on the ball, bodies on the line. Lichwak will never take a backward step. And it results in a goal for the Pulse. So they skip away to a handy lead. Here's Altschwager just going down. Fell a little awkwardly. appears to be okay.
It's a long way down for her too.
Cox from long range needs it for her confidence, and she nails it. Pulse desperately trying to hold on to this early advantage. It's going to be a long afternoon for them. They have to fight and scrap for every goal. Griffin on the baseline. Comes back into her again.
Griffin's actually using the back baseline quite a lot, and I think the Swifts defenders really need to stop that by turning around and defending that space.
Bully and Litchmark, and Grant coming flying through. Read that beautifully. Good intercept. Really impressive start here for the Pulse. Altschwager by herself had her hands up in the air. Couldn't find her.
Advantage offside.
Now Griffin. She's 5 from 5. And they've skipped away to a 4-goal lead. Stunned silence at Sydney Olympic Park.
I don't quite know what to say.
We can actually hear each other, Ellie.
I know. It's a surprise.
It is a surprise. Usually it's deafening noise in this stadium.
Contact.
Doing all the dominating, and Griffin again. Well, 6 from 6 for Paula Griffin, the 21-year-old, 9 test caps to her name, 79 goals so far this year, shooting at 83%.
She's the one that with more confidence.
Oh,
and
Litchmark's gone down. Sorry, Ali. She
You're
looked
right.
like she just might have twisted her ankle.
Missed it.
Seems to be okay. So a couple of injury scares early for the visitors. Still, they hold on to a 4-goal lead.
Yeah, and what I was saying is basically their transition in attack is where the Pulse are falling down each and every week at the moment. And so far today has actually been the most impressive part of their game. They're letting the ball go, they have the confidence in each other, and they're finding some rhythm down there.
Whole ball against Green, so they're in disarray. The Swifts, only halfway through the first quarter, but not the start they would have been hoping for.
No, it's not the start, but again, I expect them to find their feet soon enough.
Pratley's pass, lovely long ball to Cox under the post, and perhaps that might spark them into action. Litchmark hitting the deck. Pretty physical start to this clash. Might be second, be last on the ladder, but it's still early in the season. Both sides have got plenty to play for. Cox across the circle and then gets it back. There's another Pulse player hits the deck. This time Katrina Grant.
They won't hold back if that's any indication of how it's going to be this game.
Griffin again. Go-to girl early on. Yet to miss. Started in sparkling fashion. This is Courtney Tyree, the youngster for the Swifts. Green.
The good thing about the Swifts game so far this season is the fact that they're willing, their patience in passing the ball to each other. They don't seem to get too rattled, even though they may be, and that's where today they won't even see that they're 2 goals down at the moment. I think they're just going to keep on playing their game and have the patience in each other.
So crucial 5 minutes here for the Pulse. They really don't want to give away the lead. They've led all game so far. And they'll want to maintain that advantage heading into the first quarter.
Wing attack!
Oh, the call going against the Swifts again. Didn't catch what that was for.
No, I didn't actually catch it. Obviously, Kim Green's been pulled up for charging. And
again.
Not distance was the call there. And, you know, they're the things when the first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes of a game, you need to pick up what the umpire's going to pull. And obviously, Claire is going to pull a few of those things, and they need to be watchful of that.
Tyree gets a handy hand in there.
She's a tall centre, so I think that makes her a nice defensive. I'd like her in my side.
There's was the call for Kim Green. I think he summed it up pretty well, Ali.
Charging offside, Wing.
You'd get called for that even in AFL footy.
Lovely pass into Griffin then.
And out to a 5-goal lead. So we mentioned that it was critical that they maintain this heading into the first break. And it looks like they will. Really impressive start from the visitors.
Contact, goal defence, outside. With the
Tough
defence.
ball into Cox really made the captain work for it. All alone under the post. Here's Pratley. She's 6 from 6.
She's 6 from 6, and she looks to be the free player at the moment in the circle. I think they're concentrating a lot on putting the pressure on Catherine Cox, and in doing that, Pratt seems to be a little bit vacant without a defender sometimes.
Green in the thick of the action. Green again. And a great ball to Pratley. And she's yet to miss. Kim Green, 16 tests. She is the Swifts' main feeder, isn't she, Ali? They really rely on her in the mid-court, and I think she's sitting 9th for assists so far this season.
Yeah, and she should be. She's a very fiery player, and she's a great asset in any team, and she won't stop, and no matter where she's playing, centre or wing attack, she's certainly very valuable. The thing I like about Kim when she plays is that she's so vital for a team in defence. So even if she's playing wing attack, it actually adds to, you know, defending down the court. She's very good at that.
3 in a row for the home side, and Altschwager puts a stop to that. Final 2 minutes of the opening quarter.
I think they must have been practicing their goals.
Well, just 2 misses so far.
Yeah, it's great.
From the hands of the captains. So Paula Griffin 9 from 9, and Altschwager is 4 from 6.
Instruction. Pass or shot.
Kath Cox just rushing it.
She's rushed. Yeah, she has rushed it, but well, there's not much you can say. Catherine knows what she's done, but yeah, it's a little disappointing when she's off with the shots like that.
It's a hard road back, isn't it, when your confidence is shot?
Goal defence contact.
And to be honest, she didn't play well last week. She said it actually isn't her play. It's actually the finishing off with the shots, and she knows that. And I know that Catherine would have been practicing her shots this week, and probably right now she's probably overthinking it just a fraction. And
bit of miscommunication there between Pritchard and Altschwager. Pritchard went to go high over the top, and Altschwager with a bit of a spin under the post. Didn't come off.
The good thing with Catherine, though, is she adds so much depth to any attack line, and I think that's... I missed it.
This is a Boise.
Bunny distraction.
Oh, McCloma got a hand in there. Desperate stuff from the Swifts. Final seconds counting down before quarter time.
Goalkeeper contact.
A push in the back, maybe. Something we need to watch for.
On the hand. Both of you, goalkeeper.
Ball goes against Bully, and there's quarter time and a chance for the skipper to make it a 5-goal lead. Ali Broadbent, the Pulse have really stunned the Swifts in the opening quarter.
They have stunned the Swifts. I think they've stunned the crowd and us included. So it's been an impressive line. I think they've been very controlled and very settled, and they've obviously been working on that in the week so far.
Well, Julie Fitzgerald, what would she be saying to her troops? The New South Wales Swifts trailing the Central Pulse by 5 goals at quarter time. They were paying $15 for a win at sportsbet.com.au pre-game. Is there a punter anywhere out there, Ali, that was smart enough to put some money on?
I wish I was onto that.
As we have a look at some of the match stats, what can they tell us?
Yeah, well, obviously the Swifts shooting percentage is down 77%, not as good as we would like. The Pulse, on the other hand, 88%, so that's a standout and obviously a big improvement where they've come the last few weeks. Contact penalties, the Swifts are getting picked up a little bit more with 10 against 6 for the Pulse, so they need to watch that a little bit, and turnovers quite even.
And we'll have a look at the shot chart because that really does tell the story, particularly for the Swifts. Pratley and Cox
Yeah, look, Pratley and Cox they're combining really well. The movement's quite well, but they're actually, Catherine Cox has been missing a few. Susan Pratley, on the other hand, is shooting 100%, and that's very much like Pratt's, and she's a very good supportive player. So she's playing very well and keeping very steady heads. So all we need now is the Swiss captain, Catherine Cox, to step up to the mark.
Well, the winless Central Pulse, they're energised. They're taking the fight right up to the New South Wales Swifts, and the crowd can barely believe what they're watching so far. It's only one quarter. We've got 3 to go. Swifts with possession. In the midcourt, Tyree to Green over the top. Tyree, gee, she's quick. They combine again. Now the problem, trying to feed it in. And Pratley, a fumble.
Yeah, the defensive pressure by Gran and Abizi in the back end is very good, and they're certainly pressuring Cox and Pratley immensely, and it's making it hard for Kim Green and Tyree to feed them.
This is Emma Abwazi, who's got the match up on Kath Cox, and plenty of terrific defensive, relentless pressure applied here by the Swifts, making it really tough for the Pulse to move forward, and they just throw it away.
Yeah. Good defensive pressure will do that.
Let's go courtside, Victoria Murphy. Tori, any changes at that after that opening quarter?
No, Cal, the Pulse have stuck with their 7. Obviously, they're very happy with the start. No changes for the Swifts either. Coach Julie Fitzgerald, just main advice to the players was stick on their opponent.
Half a shot.
Thanks for that, Tori. I'll come back to you if there are any changes throughout the afternoon. We've seen the coaching staff at the Pulse really trying to find the right combination under the post with Griffin. Griffin started a goal shooter rather, a few times, and Olschwager's come up. But it seems to be working so far.
Yeah, it does seem to be working. Jane can play either position, and for a tall player, she actually plays a nice goal attack as well. So, you know, she's only new there. She hasn't been playing there very long, so they need to find their feet and work out which combination works better for the team, and it's obviously working today.
Defensive pressure from the Swifts again, forcing a turnover, and now Cox too far out. She goes again. Call goes against Abwazi, the former Vixen, and that will do Kat Cox confidence a world of good. It's her 4th from 7 attempts. Never looks at the scoreboard during a match, Ali. I find that so hard to believe. The Swifts captain.
She's nothing like me. But yeah, no, she's very cool and calm, and as captains go, she's one fine captain. She just leads by example, and even though she's missing the shot, she would be very positive for her teammates, extremely positive on the bench, extremely positive at training. So, you know, times are a little tough for her at the moment, but, you know, she's playing some really nice netball. It's just obviously the finishing that's not working for her at the moment.
And she would know, being the experienced leader that she is, it's certainly not panic stations just yet, but some areas of concern.
Yeah, obviously.
Olschwager, meanwhile, up the other end, puts down another. So 7 from 9.
I think Jane would find that playing on this court, Jane Olschwager would be very comfortable. She's played a lot of games here when she played for the Swifts, and would be like second home for her.
Kicked off by Abwazi. So, yeah, both sides coughing it up here quite frequently to start the second quarter. It's been a really defensive game so far, applied from both sides.
It hasn't. Victoria picked up a minute ago that Julie wants the girls to stay on their player. She wants more man-to-man, and I think when you play man-to-man, especially on the New Zealand side, they don't know how to react all the time because they play a lot of zone. So I know that man-to-man defence for the Swifts is a way to go to start getting some of that ball back, which is exactly what Kim Smith was just doing.
Pratley yet to miss. This is Griffin, who is yet to miss as well. So going goal for goal. Two really in-form shooters. Oh, that's a lovely ball over the top to Cox, right underneath the post. 2 in a row for Kath Cox.
Grant and Abizzi are playing a split circle at the moment, so it's often leaving Catherine or Pratt without a defender on them. So that's if the Swifts keep looking for that, that's going to be a nice option for them.
So we'll keep an eye on the double teaming defensive tactics of the Pulse. Tyrita Green, she gets it over, underneath almost, a bounce pass to Cox. It was from long range and it bounced out.
Advantage obstruction, wing!
Grant looking for Litchfield. Somehow it fell in Pritchard's hands. A lucky
was a
break.
Contact, wing!
Now Lees. Really made to work a little bit harder in this second quarter to get under the post.
Yeah, the way with the Pulse at the moment, I like the movement they've got in the attack line. They've obviously been working on that the last week, and Griffin especially is looking very positive, and the movement that she's making, it's sort of opening a lot of space for Jane Olschwager.
Well, they trailed the Steel last week by 20-odd goals at half-time, so it's a completely different-looking outfit. And largely the reason behind that is Jane Olschwager has really found her range.
And like I said in the pre-game, like she hasn't played a lot of nip in the last few years, so obviously it's going to take some time to build up each and every game.
One of the big signings for the Pulse in the off-season.
Goal defence contact.
Played 7 tests for Australia between 1999 and 2004, and after getting the first game under her belt, she's led them out to a 7-goal lead. Prattley makes it a 6-goal margin.
Where you are. Goal defence.
Crowd a little shell-shocked. It's fair to say, Ali. Have you ever heard them this quiet?
No, I haven't actually. It's quite refreshing.
We've been forced to clap just the little things.
Yes.
Obstruction.
Trying to really rally behind their beloved team here. They did it tough last year. Not very many home wins to speak of. And Olschwager again. 9 from 11. Former Adelaide Thunderbirds player from last year. Cox a long way from home.
Centre end offside.
Tyrita Prattley. Boise really in her face. Prattley takes her time, bit of a fake. Still yet to miss one. Long bomb. Across the circle, forced to go backwards. Green and Litchfield, neither taking a backward step, and Green thought it was her ball. Plays with plenty of passion, it's great to watch.
Advantage obstruction, wing!
It's almost like the Swifts are on a bit of a back foot at the moment, and after 3 weeks on the road, I think it's fair to say that they've probably come home a little tired, I'm going to say, a little kind of, you know, the season's been going a little while before they get their first home game, so.
Olschwager trying the basketball version of an alley-oop to Griffin then, I think. Griffin had no idea what she was thinking, just threw it straight out of court. Green, blistering pace over the top to Cox. And it's the two veterans of this team that are really trying to lift them and claw their way back.
That passage was really open.
Here's the alley-oop. There we go, Griffin just said, I can't jump that high.
Yeah, no, I'd get up. Would you get up to that one?
Well, if she could dunk, it would have been a good move.
Yeah, it would have been a great move. Maybe we can add that.
Kim Green's lifted her intensity out there, Ali, and really starting to feed it in beautifully.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that Julie Fitzgerald may make a change in the mid-court. Not purely for Courtney's not playing. It's more that the Kim Green factor might add a little bit more in the centre position with bringing Vanessa Ware on, but I'm not the coach, so we'll wait and see what she does. But a bit of a change won't hurt the Swifts.
Swifts, 3 in a row. Kim Green's got her hand in everything, quite literally, hasn't she? She has. Doesn't like losing.
I don't think any of the players like losing, but she's certainly the most fiery when they are down.
Good intercept. Here she is again. Green, if you're not sure who she is, she's wearing the red shoes for the Swifts. Well, Pratley was stuck in a sandwich then, a double team by the Pulse defenders. Maybe a little lucky to get out of it.
I think so.
Obstruction.
Will result in a goal for Susan Pratley. 13 from 13.
Susan Pratley has been known to have the odd 100% a game, so let's hope today's one of those games.
Shooting coming into this game was 78%, so, gee, remarkable improvement so far. We're yet to go halfway. Cox, oh, that's unlucky.
It's like the ring doesn't like her or something.
She can't take a trick, can she? Remains expressionless. She's so cool and calm. It was Pratley. Not quite sure how she won possession out of that. Witchwark now into Griffin, yet to miss as well. He's from mid-range. Makes it look easy.
Yeah, and she seems very confident today and quite relaxed, which is nice to see.
Play on untouched.
The Swifts with 5 of the last 6 goals.
Centre. Vantage obstruction, keeper.
Again, the visitors will really want to take a lead into the main break. They've done all the hard work. They've been super impressive.
Short pass.
And
The short pass?
short pass.
Short pass, yeah.
Penalised.
It's almost like with the Swifts at the moment, they're all backing up a little bit and not running forward to the ball, so there's only been one option, and that was lovely.
Beautiful passage of play straight down the centre, and it results in a goal. And all of a sudden, a bit of a momentum swing in this match. It was the Pulse by 7, and now they're clinging onto a 2-goal lead. Griffin can make it 3. She does.
Being off the shops, the combination that she has with Susan Pratley will be helping Susan obviously finish off her goals, and you know, she is a great partner to have in the circle.
Olschwager's just faded out of the game in the last few minutes.
Vantage contact.
Sets the screen under the post. Struggling to get it in and under.
They are, Sonia McClummer and Beck Bully are concentrating very much man-on-man defence at the moment, and I think that's rattled Olschwager a little bit.
Still a 3-goal ball game. Just over 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Oh, Boise saw that coming 10 minutes before it was thrown.
The Swifts really needed a forward move on that one, and it was like they were waiting for someone else to make the move, and no one really made it. So something for food for thought for later, maybe.
Griffin. Oh, Rebecca Bully. In your face.
Bully has a lovely jump and a lovely time on a jump, so she can do that quite regularly if the need asks for it.
Former teammate of yours, Liz Ellis, would have enjoyed that.
She would have, a bit of a reject.
The defender that she is.
Lizzie used to talk it up a bit. But
oh, and the first miss for Griffin.
Under the post.
Time's being called. I think we might have lost a bit.
It's with the centre.
The wing attack.
So, Ali, just over a minute remaining in this first half. Gee, it was the Pulse out by 7 at one stage, and they're now just holding on to a 3-goal lead. This is anyone's game going into the main break.
It is anyone's game, and I think that the Swifts have remained quite calm, although in the last couple of minutes I've seen them look a little panicked, and especially there's no drives coming through the mid in the attack line, so I'd like to see a little bit more moves forward. But Kim Green's doing her best to rise up her... Oh, dear.
Just when you talk her
Just
up, it always happens,
up.
doesn't it? To be fair,
stop talking.
To be fair, it didn't look like it was her problem. The defensive pressure that was on was terrific, and McClummer does it again down the defensive end. Cox a long way from under the post. Blistering pass. rocketed it in.
And she's missed one too.
Pratley misses her first, so she was trying to go into the half-time break with an unblemished record, but 15 from 16. Not too bad at all. Olschwager, a little unorthodox, a little awkward looking. Doesn't matter. Oh, nearly results in a goal.
There was good pressure by McClellan then. She really worked hard, man-on-man defence, and then when obviously Olschwager went up for the goal, she was jumping very fast.
Held ball.
Another call against the Swifts, so
Outside.
a chance here for the Pulse to make it a four-goal ball game rather. Is there time?
Advantage offside.
Olschwager's calling for it from long range.
Instruction.
The defensive pressure from both sides has been really strong, especially in the goal circles on both ends. It's putting the pressure on and obviously putting some pressure on the shooters.
Pressure shot here for the skipper. A chance to drop her 10th. Oh, and it bounces out. So she has 9 for the first half. But a much improved effort from Jane Olschwager and her Central Pulse team. They're really taking the fight right up to the New South Wales Swifts. They led by 7 at one point. They maintain a 3-goal advantage heading in to half-time.
I can't take no more. Her tears like diamonds on the floor, and her diamonds bring me down, 'cause I can't help her now.
Well, it's rivalry round in the ANZ Championship, and plenty of feeling in this clash, no doubt about it. Half-time at Sydney Olympic Park, and if you're just tuning in, we've got a real upset on the cards here, because it is the Pulse leading the Swifts by 3 goals. They led by 7 at one point, Ali. And let's crunch the numbers. What do these match statistics tell us?
Well, match statistics tell us that the shooting percentages are not where both coaches would like them to be. They'd like them to be over the 80%. Contact penalties, 17 for the Swifts and 10 for the Pulse. There's a big difference there. And obviously turnovers have seemed quite high for both teams.
The New South Wales Swifts heading in were playing for top spot on the ladder. We know the Vixens haven't played yet this round, so they've got plenty to play for. And yet, what are they doing wrong? Where do they need to improve?
Well, you know, I wasn't too worried in the first quarter. I thought they're finding their feet, first home game. They seem to be rushing a little bit. I noticed in the last couple of minutes of that last quarter, they had a couple of held balls in their attack line. You can't be having those in when you are down a couple of goals, so you really need to make sure you capitalise on every point that you get and every turnover. They stepped up their defence a little bit, but they still need to do a little bit more work in getting the ball down the court.
Kim Green, she's a real star for the Swifts in the mid-court. She looks angry. She's playing angry. She's frustrated. She's not happy. Perhaps more Swifts players need to look angry and play angry, but
maybe it's the red shoes.
She's desperately trying to lift her side. Perhaps more players need to follow her lead.
Yeah, I'm picking that Julie Fitzgerald will make a change in the mid-court and put Kim Green in the centre with Vanessa Ware on the wing attack, just to change it up a little bit. I think that may be the only change that she makes. With the Pulse, on the other hand, they're doing an extremely good job at working the defence, making sure they're treasuring every turnover, and they actually are building a nice lead.
And the shooting combination of the Swifts in Cox and Pratley?
Yeah, look, they are struggling a little bit in goals, but Pratt's was on 100% right till the end of that half, almost. And Catherine Cox is struggling a little bit, but the combination that she has and the partnership she has is nice to see. And I think if that won't change, I think that Julie will just keep plodding along with that one.
Well, the story here at halftime is that the New South Wales Swifts, undefeated after 3 rounds, are in a real scrap here, a real fight, because it's the winless Central Pulse leading by 3 goals at halftime. Don't go away. Right after this, the second half coming up. Second half about to get underway in Sydney. The Swifts fans haven't had too much to cheer about so far. Can they turn it around in one half of netball? What would their skipper, Kath Cox, be saying to them right now? Undefeated in the first 3 games on the road. Ali, are we starting to talk about a home court hoodoo?
I don't think so, but they certainly haven't had the start that they wanted to have. They seem a little rattled. I think the Pulse are doing a really good job at their defending and bringing the ball down the court once they get the ball back. Obviously, they need to stop Jane Olschwager and Griffin, because they're combining quite nicely at the moment.
Kelly Underwood and Ali Broadbent in commentary this afternoon. Just about a full house in at Sydney Olympic Park for this round 4 clash. Rivalry round in the ANZ as Emma Obuazi throws that one away.
And that's what the Swifts need to do. They really need to work on their defensive pressure, and it's exactly what they want to happen. When they defend that well, the ball's going to go out, and they're going to make the Pulse are going to start to make some mistakes.
The Pulse by 5 goals at quarter time. They stunned this crowd, and 3 at half-time. So the Swifts gradually closing the gap, and they can make it 2, and Pratley does. So Green in the action. We have had a few changes. We'll get down to Victoria Murphy very shortly. In the meantime, Pratley. Well, here they come, the New South Wales Swifts. 2 quick ones to start the third. There's just the 1 goal in it. Olschwager pops it up.
Good position from Rebecca Bully then, and she really had the front position, so there was nowhere for Griffin to go.
Olschwager got a hand in there. It's turnover city, 3 in a row.
Funny construction.
Cloma to Green. And I'll just try and steady here. As they go to Cox. Wide. Nowhere to go. Kim Green, not for the first time this afternoon. Now it's the go-to girl, Bully. She'll get it back again. What a way to start the second half for Pratley, rather. And 3 in a row for Susan Pratley. Scores are level. The Swifts yet to lead this afternoon. Kath Cox to put them in the lead.
To be fair, that was a fairly long shot. The Swifts are really working man-to-man defence at the moment, and the Pulse are struggling to make the transition into attack.
Let's go down to Victoria Murphy. There's been a couple of changes at half-time.
Yeah, there has, Cal. The Swifts, as expected, Kim Green moves to centre, making way for Vanessa Ware at wing attack. Tyree back to the bench. The Pulse made a lot of changes. Katrina Grant moving to goal keep. Agizi to goal defence. Lees takes over at centre, while Milner Olsen moves to wing attack.
Go back down.
Plenty there to keep a courtside reporter busy. Now Green, move to centre. We saw Ware come on and over the top to Pratley. And Sydney Olympic Park explodes into life. The Swifts hit the front for the first time this afternoon.
They were just warming up before.
I thought the first half was a warm-up. Green picks it off. Blistering speed. Swift has scored the first 4 goals in this third quarter. It's a different looking outfit. We saw Kath Cox speak to the players before that came out. What did she say?
Well, maybe we can't repeat it.
Kim Green read that beautifully, and there has been an injury timeout called, and it's Emma Obuazi who's called it. Perhaps
she's got a sore knee.
Concern it was the right, but maybe it's the left. They've scored the first 5 goals to start this third term, so perhaps a tactical injury timeout called here. It's Emma Obuazi who's got a problem with her left knee. So the Central Pulse yet to score. We've gone a few minutes
without a goal.
Only 4 minutes in this third term.
Well, I'm glad Julie Fitzgerald was listening to me and swap Green into centre and Vanessa on wing attack.
Tell us a little bit about Vanessa Ware as we just have a look at the replay of why Obuazi called the timeout. And I don't think we really saw it there, so perhaps a tactical timeout call after all. Vanessa Ware missed the first couple of games with a back injury for the Swifts. She's really crucial for them and came on at half-time last week.
Yeah, she's come on at half-time. Obviously, yeah, she's had a back injury. They've been getting her back into the game slowly. I expected her to start today, but obviously coming on at half-time was a plan that Julie Fitzgerald had. Vanessa and Green are a very tried and tested attacking combination. The thing I like about Vanessa is that they don't really concentrate a lot on her, the defenders. She does a lot of things without actually being noticed, so which is good for the team.
Interesting move that she didn't start. You would assume that, you know, she's suited up, so she's fit. She played the last half.
Well, Courtney Tyree's done a really great job the last few weeks, and I think Julie's philosophy is she's done a really great job. Let's give her the start again. But Vanessa Ware is, you know, an old hat at these games and tight games as well. So her and Kim Green have a really nice partnership together.
Great take from Cox under the post, just pure strength. And then gives it off to her shooting partner, Pratley, who shot 20 from 22. Commentary team nearly got knocked over by the captain for the opposition.
Bunny construction.
Not Olsen looking to give it into Griffin.
Good footwork from Beck Bully then. She's really working hard on the on Griffin at the moment, and Sonia McClellan, the man-on-man defence is superb.
Suddenly stagnant, the Central Pulse. They've gone back into their shells. And the Swifts are capitalising. Oh, high ball, great take. One-handed, just plucked it with her left hand, Kat Cox. That's the Kat Cox of old. They've got a real run on here. The Pulse yet to score in this third quarter. 8-zip.
I'm really surprised that the Pulse coach has actually made wholesale changes when the team was doing very well, and I think that maybe that's backfired a little bit on her at the moment, because I think the Grant and Abizia particularly were doing a great job in defence, and you know, she swapped them around for whatever reason, I don't know.
Good point, backfired. It's absolutely baffling. Looking to make it not. Oh, Cox might have just caught one in the chest from Abuazi. A little slow to get up. Should we see the coaching staff for the Central Pulse. Coach Rebecca McCaws-Enduri under the pump over in New Zealand during the week, and I guess fair enough as well, given that they made wholesale changes in the summer after a disastrous couple of seasons and still a winless after 3. They've been fantastic in the first half, and she's made changes, and it really has backfired.
Yeah, my philosophy is if it's not broke, don't fix it. So
Cox gets another one, this time perhaps in the eye. So we have a look at the goal attempts, Ali.
Geez, it's a telling sign. Swifts with 12 and Pulse with none for the quarter.
And 10.
That says a lot
from 12 they've made. So
here's one.
No, that's why they call special comments a tough gig.
Your arms are up first.
Just when you think you've got it.
Arms first.
First goal for the quarter at the 8-minute mark for the Central Pulse. What has gone wrong? It's just unravelled in the first 8 minutes of the third term.
Throwing, wing area, advantage offside.
They do say the third quarter's championship quarter, and they say that for a reason. There's a lot of teams drop off. A lot of good teams pick up in this quarter, and a lot of teams that aren't so good or don't have the consistency will back off in this quarter without really trying to.
11 goals to 1 in the third term, and the Swifts have well and truly turned this game on its head. They lead by 7. Bit of contact between Milner, Olsen and McCloma, and McCloma really questioning the call.
Back where she is.
Just told to quieten down there for a few minutes.
Barney's offside and contact. Contact, goal defence. Both of you are out.
They've really stepped up the intensity, the Swifts. So McCloma and Bully out of play.
Barney's obstruction.
Griffin gets the second for the Pulse. Body language isn't good, is it, Ali? All of a sudden for the Pulse, they've really dropped their heads.
Yeah, they have, and they certainly seem to be on the back foot, which brings me to my point before about the changes that she made. I'm surprised that she made nearly the whole team change, pretty much. But, yeah, and the Swifts seem to have stepped up a gear. Oh, I don't know what was that? Missed it.
Abuazi.
The thing with the Pulse at the moment now, when they're in front, they were doing so okay and making some really nice things. Now the pressure's on and they're really starting to make some crucial mistakes, and you can really notice with the better teams, when the pressure's on, they step up and now I'm talking it up, they'll just keep making those mistakes.
Here's Litchfield, the former captain, trying to inspire her team.
Good defence by Beck Bully then. Great
Wonderful defence. Griffin went one way, then the other, and Bully was all over her, just wearing her like a blanket.
Yep. Over here, keeper. Barney's contact.
Here is Rebecca Bully. Victoria made the move up to Sydney, and it's really paid off for her.
It has, and the thing about Beck is last year she had a tough year, and she I think she was feeling it a little bit, and obviously this year she seems really relaxed and calm and happy where her headspace is at the moment, and it's nice to see her playing so well.
Number one for pickups heading into this fourth round clash, and there she is again in the action.
It's almost like Griffin's wearing her at the moment, which is
9 test caps for Rebecca Bully, 27-year-old Victorian. Cox, good strong cut under the post.
That's the thing about Catherine Cox, is she is so strong and so vital to how the Swifts are playing in the attack line, and obviously she's found her mark this quarter, and it's really great to see her playing nicely.
Starting to really find her range now, the skipper, and it's wonderful to watch. Smell victory, the New South Wales Swifts.
That's it.
Will it be a runaway victory? We'll have to wait and see. Bully again gets her hands in it.
She's just helping out the Pulse attack line.
Well, they need it. They certainly need it in this third term.
I don't know if I'd be that nice.
It's a 6-goal lead for the Swifts. Cox going the wrong way. She knows what she's doing. Oh, well,
no one at home.
I'm not sure Kim Green knew then. Might have seen a spectator sitting in red and got confused.
I know Julie would have concentrated, Julie Fitzgerald, the Swifts coach, would have concentrated on it that halftime break, the fact that they did have a few held balls in their attack line. So the girls, if it's getting a bit closer to the 3-second mark, they will be passing the ball back, and they'll be conscious of that at the moment.
Julie Fitzgerald, New South Wales Swifts coach, said it wasn't mentioned, the horror loss that they had last year to this side. No doubt it would have haunted them a little bit over summer, but coach opting not to use it as in the build-up. As McClymber and Griffin, a little bit of by-play off the ball, and the call goes in McClymer's favour.
She was happy with that.
Ali, Sonia McClymer, I guess, what sort of impact has she had on this side? And, you know, can one player, we mentioned earlier, the first international player for the Swifts, they opted in the first 2 years to really go locally and use, you know, Sydney players where possible. They probably favoured that, but perhaps took a little while to realise that it is such a high level, you can't afford to do that, so they've gone with McClymer. And what sort of impact have you seen that she's had on this team?
I think she's been a real settler, and I think it's helped Rebecca Bully and Kim Smith find their ground and been a very good comfort space for those girls. And McClymer's still got lots to learn. She can get very rattled very quickly, but she's actually, Julie Fitzgerald will work really hard this season at keeping her calm and collected, and things like that, she can do some freaky things and put the pressure on, and she finds quite so. She's got support like Beck Bully and Kim Smith. I think she'll just get better and better, and she'll be, the defence line can be unstoppable if they keep working at it.
New South Wales Swifts have scored 20 of the last 27 goals, so far a game of two halves, and again Cox in the action, showing off a little bit of the vertical leap there from the veteran. She's still got it. She's still got it.
From out of court, throwing pole.
Nearly came off for her.
Construction now.
She's got such long arms.
She has, hasn't she? She hasn't probably got the height to go with the real tall goal shooters, given that Olschweiger is 193 centimetres. As we have a look at the ball there, the replay of that wonderful ball into Cox, and it's all too easy. But yeah, really long arms, and it obviously helps when you're a defender in this sport.
I think we're noticing now in the attack line for the Swifts is Vanessa Ware seems very open, and she's obviously finding a lot of space out there, and the Pulse defenders really need to start to pick up on that, otherwise she's having a field day.
Sonia McClymer really brings the crowd to life. So athletic, showing it all off, and it will result in a goal for the Swifts, and they're really starting to run away with it now. What a turnaround in this game. The intercept, Swifts 3.
I hear the crowd's taken a bit of a sigh of relief. They're going, whoo!
So they were looking at their tickets at half-time thinking, gee, we haven't got our money's worth so far. You mentioned earlier, Ali, that the Easter show's on around that corner.
Yeah,
we hope that no one walked out and went to the Easter show in the second half.
Went to get some show
action.
bags.
That's it.
The defence pressure that Bully and McClymer are putting on the Pulsar shooters is impressive. They've really stepped up. Their footwork's really good. They're not letting them have 2 inches of space.
Pulse, outside.
You're giving the votes the 3-2-1 this afternoon. No doubt in the back of your mind.
Contact, goal defence.
Oh, Schwager, if you don't mind, and it counts. Over the head, the one-hander. A little bit of magic from the Central Pulse skipper. Have a look at a replay of this. Ali, have you ever seen this in netball before?
Nah. Oh, a couple of times, not as probably as impressive as that, but it goes all right.
Well, they needed something. It is three-quarter time. The New South Wales Swifts lead by 7. What a turnaround in this third term. It's the Swifts 38, the Pulse 31. Well, they only got 6 goals in the third quarter, the Central Pulse, but this should count for 10, Alex. A no-look flick over the head by the captain. She likes it, and she's trying to fire them up as well. Central Pulse were in everything in the first half, and they led by 3. But the Swifts, as these stats tell us, Ali, have absolutely turned the game on its head. 16-6 in the third term.
16-6 in the third term, and as I said before, it's a championship quarter, and a quarter that the Swifts should really be proud of. They started a little slowly. That quarter really showed what stamina they have. And Catherine Cox has certainly turned the game around since halftime for herself. She basically started off really slowly. Her play work's been really well, but in that quarter she shot very impressively, and yeah, certainly adding up to a good total for the end of the game.
Would have been a long week for her, shooting at 68% heading into this game, and as we mentioned, benched herself in extra time. It was brave, it was courageous, and just finding her feet early days here this afternoon. She'll be looking for a really big last quarter to get the confidence up and about. Still anyone's ball game. We know that the Swifts did dominate in that third term, but the Pulse have got absolutely nothing to lose. And they really put on a show in the first half. We'll get down to Victoria Murphy very shortly. There's been wholesale changes for the visitors as the Swifts go again. 16-6, they outscored the Pulse in that third term. They'll be looking to do it again in the last. Green. Bully. Well done by Ushweiger. Now they go up over the top. Good take from Ushweiger. Well, she figured she can try anything.
She can keep trying those shots. I got visions of all the goal shooters in Australia going out and practicing that shot after this game.
And they needed the first, the Pulse, and they've got it. Let's get down to Victoria Murphy. Tori, lots of changes.
Yeah, there is again, Cal. For the Swifts, Ashley Brazel, big day for her. She's getting her debut now at wing defence with Kim Smith moving back to the bench. That's their only change. Lots for the Pulse again. Pritchard to centre, Manu to goal defence, replacing Agbezi after that knee injury, and Amaru Tibble comes on for Griffin.
You've done beautifully, Tori, to keep up with that. The Pulse have been keeping you on your toes this afternoon.
Just testing you out.
This is Schwag into Schwager. It was an old-fashioned push in the back there from Bully. I don't think the umpire saw it.
Oh, come on.
Still only 6 goals. Rebecca Bully really lifted in that third quarter, where long bomb to Kath Cox. And from long range, she's had absolutely no luck this afternoon whatsoever.
Like the goalpost doesn't like her very much today.
What do they say? Walked under a ladder or broke a mirror or something? Surely.
Instruction.
Come on.
Everyone's riding this with her. They're on the edge of their seats, 3 times lucky. Doesn't change her body language whatsoever.
She's pretty calm.
Very calm.
That's what you like your captain and a star shooter to be.
Some of us would be having tantrums
Yeah.
out there.
Step away.
That's why I'm not a shooter.
Cloma over the top just swats it away.
Contact, wing defence.
And great to see as the Pulse look to put down another one, and they do. So only 6 goals here. Good to see Ashley Brazel get some court time making her debut. Here she is, the wing defence for the Swifts, and a little bit nervy start. Gives it away there, looking to give it off to the skipper, making her debut in the ANZ Championship. The wing defence for the Swifts, making the most of her court time.
Well read by Beck Bully then. Great intercept. Fantastic.
Cloma, the bounce pass to Green.
Goal attack.
Not happy with the contact.
Showing some love.
And again, well, a bit of verbal. Not sure if that was love, but bit of a verbal spray as well. Oh. Well, she tried to split the defenders and it very nearly came off. Cox with the screen.
Contact here, pass or shot. With the shooter. Come with the shooter.
Hi, just urging all players under the post to calm down a little bit. Kat Cox with her 18th from 26 attempts. This is Bessie Manu.
Good pressure from the Swifts defence, particularly Ashley Brazel. She'd be very nervous at the moment, and obviously she spent last year at the Institute of Sport and learned a lot down there, and you know, she'd be looking to have a good quarter here today.
She was a real revelation actually in the pre-season, a country girl who drives to Sydney for training each week, and talking to a couple of the Swifts players in the pre-season, they were saying she's got absolutely amazing elevation. Her vertical leap's more than 60 centimetres, and in comparison, I think Kath Cox is about 40 centimetres. So she can leap.
She can leap. She looks fit.
And throws herself at every contest as well. Here she is defending. Milner Olsen over the top. And another chance for the Pulse to make it a 6-goal ball game, and they do. Maru Tibble coming off the bench. Ware over to Cox. Finally a long bomb drops.
Vantage contact, wing.
Mitchwart. And there's Brazel. We've been talking her up in her debut. Gets a hand and an intercept and back in the action again.
Bunny drop side.
She is super quick. Pratley. Only missed 3 this afternoon. So just under 10 minutes remaining in this round 4 clash. Swifts have got the advantage, but anything can happen as we've already seen so far.
I don't know what happened there. It's a little bit scrappy at the moment, so I think Julie Fitzgerald will be looking for her team to really tidy up. And after I've said that, obviously on cue, Catherine Cox spills the ball.
Bounce pass a little bit too hot. Woolley picks it up.
The Swifts really need to stay settled here and to bring the ball down. Obviously, the Pulse are going for absolutely every ball that they can get, and whether they contact or not, it's irrespective. But Don't know what happened there. That looked like
The
cheers.
crowd likes it. A smile from Bullock.
Goalkeeper, it's your knee. Pass or shot?
Cox from long range. And that's the first long bomb really for the afternoon. She's had no luck from long range whatsoever. Getting herself back in full flight. Oh, picked off well there by Grant, and a couple of players hit the deck.
It's well read by Grant. She's playing quite nicely at the goalkeeper position, but
Manu,
Contact,
come
wing
on,
attacker.
goal defence.
Obstruction, goal attack, both.
They look for Olschwager. Too tall, can't stop that. McClemmer tries. And Jane Olschwager, 15 from 19 attempts. Compared to her last week, she finished 21 from 26.
half the problem with the Pulse at the moment is they're probably not putting the volume of shots up, and therefore, obviously, the scores are quite low. You would think 34 goals is not going to win you a game, so you need to start to put up a hell of a lot more shots.
Desperate stuff from Ashley Brazel. And Olschwager again. Well, whose ball's that?
I think Olschwager had it first. Just.
Goal attack, contact.
Now Green looking to give it off to Brazel.
Funny contact, goal
Still the
defence.
Swifts by 7 goals. Plenty of time left in
Causing
this clash.
contact, wing defender.
It's going to be a Swifts ball.
With the wing defence.
Vanessa Ware done really well since she's come on.
Goal defence.
That's the thing about
hold.
Vanessa Ware is she goes
Where
incognito.
the
She
attack is.
basically does a job, does it very well, and sometimes you don't even notice that she's doing that, but she does it very nicely, and the girls is a great support for the goal shooter and
Moving
goal
goal
attack.
defence.
And Ware and Green, obviously really good friends off the court, but gee, they team really well together in that mid-court.
But they've been playing a fair few years together, and that makes for something. They've got that combination. They've played a lot of netball together, and it shows in how they have the confidence in one another.
Vantage break, goal attack.
Goal defence contact.
Pratley,
That's persistent
not
now.
happy
Goal
with the
defence.
attention that was given
Goal
to
defence.
the defender.
Persistent. Vantage obstruction.
Good
Trying
defence
to give it
then.
off. Yeah, it was really good defence. Pratley and Ware.
Contact goalkeeper.
Goes for the bounce pass off the deck.
Sorry. Just back it up, attack. Just back it up.
Really split it this afternoon, the Swift shooters. Pratley, 24th goal. And her shooting partner in crime, Kath Cox, has 20. A little bit stop-start netball now as, Almaru Tibble it was that threw that away.
That's the pressure that this Swifts defence line can actually put on a team. They were seen quite rattled in the Pulse and obviously threw the ball out, and that's what you want your top teams to be doing.
Almaru Tibble, the goal shooter for the Pulse, has only just come on, but she missed last week, ruled out with illness, so I'd be happy to get a bit of court time here this afternoon. Green over the top, then it was Pratley to Cox. And Kath Cox finding her range. Makes it a 10-goal margin. Threatening to run away with it in the last 5 minutes. Kath Cox starting to put on a show.
It's interesting to note that Catherine Cox has taken 12 of the last 16 shots, so her confidence is really building in how she's playing and how often she wants to put those shots up, so it's really nice to see her do that.
And the Swifts have scored the last 4 goals as well, so
Obstruction. Obstruction.
Susan Pratley. Super game from her this afternoon. Long to Cox, and it's all too easy. Turns, shoots. Kath Cox is back in town.
It's almost like they started playing at half-time.
That's right, you're right. They were warming up for that first half. Here's the youngster, Brazel, getting a hand in there. She's certainly a player, a young player to watch in the ANZ Championship.
Good work, Kim Green. That's the things that Kim Green can do in defence that just make her so valuable to any side.
Throwing, Swifts.
Don't know what happened.
Well, the call.
Toe on the line. Something.
Not sure.
Not taken
McClymont.
properly.
Brazel and Green. Winding down the clock. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Oh, Olsen a little bit too enthusiastic. Green.
Goal attack, contact, advantage offside.
And they've had winners all over the court, haven't they, Ali, in the second half? We saw probably Green it
Wing
was that
defence
really
contact.
lifted them and woke them up and tried to spark
Goal
them, and
defence,
then
your arms wrapped right
bully
around
from
her.
defence in the third term, and now Kath Cox really getting involved in the last.
Yeah, I've been really happy and impressed with how the Swifts have maintained their momentum, and especially when they came out over half-time, they were down, but they're the top teams who are really going to start to pull out, and championship quarter it always is, but I don't know what happened there. Bit of contact, went the wrong way. But yeah, Beck, Bully and McClymont up the back line, stepped up their defence. It's almost like they wouldn't let the shooters have a ball for almost 5 minutes of the third quarter, so...
Goal defence. Step in goal defence. Goal defence.
So a chance here for the Pulse. They've finished this game off quite poorly, faded in the last quarter. And after the Swifts score 7 goals in a row, finally a much-needed goal for the Pulse through Olschwager.
Good defence again from the Swifts. I mean, there's only a minute left to go, but they're still working on that, holding the ball up and teamwork on man-on-man defence. It's really worked well for them this afternoon.
Green, Pratley, still time for another score.
Pass or shot.
Steps into it. That is as sweet as it gets.
That is great goal attack.
Looking to get out to their biggest lead. Kath Cox deserves it, wills it, just falls short.
Wing attack, contact, outside.
It's still nice to see her put those up, though. Like, that's showing that she's still got the confidence to have a go. And
Brazel nearly collected her. Bessie Martin in the
She wanted to
final
get on
seconds.
TV.
That's it. And there it is. They took a while to warm up the New South Wales Swifts, but after 4 rounds, they remain undefeated, eventually downing a brave Central Pulse outfit, 50-36. The final margin, 14 goals, and in a sense, Ali Broadbent, it was a game of 2 halves, wasn't it?
it was a game of 2 halves. It certainly was all Pulse in the first half. Second half, the Swifts came out and really stepped up the mark and really wanted to play some great netball, and it showed in their fire in their belly. So it was nice to see.
So the Central Pulse really stunned them early on. They led by 5 at quarter time, by 3 at half time. And the Swifts turned it on in the third quarter, the premiership quarter. They took a 7-goal lead into the last change, and in the end, they doubled it to win by 14. Top of the ladder, the New South Wales Swifts. Who would have thought? Only at the start of the 4th round, obviously, and we've got the Vixens still to play, but gee, top of the ladder, they'll be happy with that.
They've doubled the amount of games they won last year, so they'll be extremely happy to get that one under the belt. And I know Julie and the girls will be comfortable with where they're sitting at the moment, and obviously that's a good sign.
Bit of a different sign in the camp when you wind back the clock to when they lost that one to the Pulse, and there were players crying, but gee, they're pretty happy. Let's find out more. Victoria Murphy, I think you've got a pretty happy skipper with you.
I certainly do, Kath. In the end, it was a big win for you guys, but gee, they started strong.
They absolutely did start strong, and we knew they were going to. They finished on a really high note last week in their game, so they were going into this game with some decent form. Sadly, not our best start, but we did finish off well.
Were you shocked?
No, not at all shocked. I mean, as I said, they finished their game last week really strongly against a quality side like the Steel, so they were coming into some good form. We knew that they were capable of it.
Now, it turned around for you guys in the half. How important is it to get Vanessa Ware on and then Green into centre?
Yeah, I mean, it's a critical part, I think. Nessie's been in this team a long time, so we do have a great combination formed there, and it just makes a difference, you know. But Courtney's such a great player too. I think they offer very different things, which we're lucky to have.
And you had a little bit of a frustrating day with the ring. How did you feel at the end?
I felt good. I mean, it's just getting into the game. It was a shocking start, but good to know that we can still fight back from where we were.
All right, great. Thank you. Well done.
So the winning skipper for the New South Wales Swifts, Kath Cox, 23 from 32. What will she make of that, do you think, Ali? And it's great to see her back in full flight. It's good for netball. It's good for the sport. You know, she's a real star, great personality, and fans love coming to watch her in full flight.
Yeah, they do. And obviously, she probably was disappointed with the first half, as she said, but second half, she really took some great balls and really led by example. And it's not only the goals that adds to her team, it's the play around and getting in the goal circle.
Let's go back down to Victoria Murphy.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Macloma, great for you again. You're so strong in defence, such a big asset for the team now.
Yeah, it was good. You know, we worked hard, and I think, you know, me and Beck, that combination really worked today, and we kept talking, and the whole defence end, it was good. We felt confident.
Now, Olschwager, she was on fire for the pulse in the ring, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Okay, West Coast Fever next. How are you feeling about that game?
I think definitely, you know, coming off this win now, you know, and how we played and how we worked as combinations, and we now know what's working for us. So going into that game, you know, the girl's going to be high, I'm going to be confident in my defence, and, you know, we'll see what happens.
And how about you? You're settling in, missing home at all?
No. I'm enjoying the sunshine, so I'm not really missing home.
All right, well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, would you miss home? If you're living in Sydney and living the high life, a professional netballer, and you've come into a side that struggled last year and slotted in beautifully, and you're undefeated after 4 rounds. Life doesn't get any better than that. Ali, we'll get back to that very shortly. Look, the captain of the Pulse has been good enough to chat to us as well. Tori, you're on fire. Take it away.
Thanks, Kelly. Jane, God, you guys started so amazingly.
We did. We had a great start compared to last week where we had a dismal start. So now we've got to put 2 halves together and we'll come up with a game where we'll actually win for sure.
Well, that's it. I mean, at half-time, so many changes. It seemed to rattle you guys a little bit. Was that the plan always to make so many changes? Or
we always go into the into the game not meaning to actually change the lineup. But I think Avetta coach was looking to get some fresh legs into the comp, make sure that we're always running with them because Swifts just run all day. So we wanted to make sure we're with them all the whole way.
And unfortunately couldn't stay with them today. Next week you host the Adelaide. You're hosting Adelaide over in New Zealand. It could be a battle to get off the bottom. That's going to be pretty tough, isn't it?
It's quite interesting seeing as they were my team from last year, but it will be a very good battle. Interesting to see what they line up with. They've had a few changes as well, and we're still trying to work our combinations. So we certainly hope we'll get a win, but I'm sure it'll be a good battle.
You will one day. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ta.
Jane Olschwager finishing the game with 16 from 22. As Tori mentioned, next week they host the Thunderbirds. So the captain of the Pulse will be up against her old side. What did you make of them today? She's probably hit the nail on the head. A good half last week and a good half today. They just need to find some consistency.
Yeah, they need to find a consistency, and I think that will happen when they find a line that they're really happy with and the coach wants to stay with. I would have liked them to see limited changes at half-time, but that's the way it goes.
A highly entertaining round 4 clash at Sydney Olympic Park this afternoon. Central Pulse were brave. They really took the fight right up to the undefeated side. But in the end, the Swifts overran the Pulse. The final score, 50-36.
Contact, goal attack.
we saw a bit of everything this afternoon. Certainly was a very entertaining game of netball. The New South Wales Swifts continuing their sparkling start to season 2010 after a year to forget last year, undefeated in blistering form, and Ali Broadbent in total control for not the entire game, for the entire second half.
For the entire second half, they certainly were a different team when they came out after half-time. Susan Prattley shooting at 87%. That's an outstanding performance of where she's been. She's showing some real true form there. And obviously a disappointing 36 goals for the Pulse, and that's a telling sign in the fact that they need to really get over the 40 mark.
Certainly is very low scoring as we have a look at the match stats. 16-6 in the third term really turned the game on its head, and the Swifts just came out in that third quarter and blew them away.
Yeah, it was the premiership quarter, and it's that for a reason. Turnovers are a telling mark. There's 31 for the Pulse and 21 for the Swifts, and really in a game like that you want to have about 20 or less as turnovers go. Penalties around the same mark, intercepts around the same, and shooting percentage, interestingly enough, around the same. Swifts had more attempts at goal.
Well, let's have a look at some of the highlights from the game, and there were plenty of them, but we should mention as well, congratulations to Susan Prattley, a milestone game today.
Yeah, 100 games for the Swifts, and she's doing outstanding form. She just quietly goes about her business, doing the job that she's told to do, supporting her players, putting up the shots, and you see in how calm that she actually plays. It's a testament to her character that she's got 100 games today, and I'm really proud of her, and I know she should be proud of herself.
Fair to say the crowd was pretty stunned up until half-time. You're our expert this afternoon. Were you pretty stunned by what you saw in that first half? Because the Central Pulse, winless, came out and just really brave and played some beautiful netball in that first half, took a lead in at half-time.
It's actually nice to see them play that style of netball. Obviously, we know they can play that netball, but they haven't been putting it out on court. As Jane Olschwager said, it was obviously two halves of good netball and not really their style.
It certainly was a game of two halves, there's no doubt about that. The good news is for Swifts fans that they got there in the end. Now, you had the honour of doing the 3-2-1s this afternoon.
I did. I found it very tough, actually.
Tough gig,
but
yes. So you're sitting in Liz Ellis's hot seat. That's a
the
tough
pressure's
gig.
on when I'm doing her job.
Right. Take us through it. Who did you give best on court to?
I actually thought that Kim Green showed true character. She was fighting all the way. I gave her my 3 points purely for the character that she showed. She dominated in that centre third. She always wanted the ball. She wanted to make the difference. She went for defending and got some tips in defence. Rebecca Bully and Sonia McClure, it shows that I'm a defender when I'm giving them points. But basically, they showed true style in the second half of that game with some great man-on-man defence, picking up some balls, capitalising on the tips and really pressurising the Pulse shooters until they could not shoot a lot of goals.
2 to the defenders, that is concerning, and with that Rebecca Bully really surges up the ladder for our Player of the Year. Of course, the Player of the Year to win the wonderful Holden Cruise. Holden's all-new small car, what a prize to drive away with. I can tell you that Renee Hallinan, the Melbourne Vixen, leading this, and Bully has surged up into second position, and she was really wonderful this afternoon. And as we see, Kim Green wins $1,000 for her local junior club.
Yeah, it is. Guyamea Netball Club have scored $1,000, and it's great for them. And also, you know, obviously Kim's very stylish with how she plays and really confident, and she's really letting the ball go and dominating in the centre court. So she's one to watch for the future. And
probably one of the results why the Swifts struggled, fair to say, a little bit last year. Kim Green, a little sluggish start to season 2009. What has she done different, do you think, in the off-season, and how is she a different player?
Yeah, well, I actually think she's probably not got much pressure on her. I think the Swifts didn't do well last year. No one expected them to do this well so soon. So, you know, there's no pressure there. They're the underdogs a little bit, and obviously she's thriving on that.
Kim Green leading her New South Wales Swifts sides to a big victory. They're undefeated, and they won this afternoon 50-36 against the Central Pulse. We'll be back to wrap up right after this.